Hello and welcome. On today's video I'm going to show you two different recipes that I created for fall. The first one is going to be bell pepper stuffed with turkey, and the second one is going to be a leftover recipe, what to do with the leftover meat, and we're gonna be making a delicious pasta dish with turkey and cabbage. I hope you enjoy them. We're going to start by placing our favorite pot on the stove, and we're going to turn on the heat and add some vegetable oil to it, or maybe some soft olive oil if you prefer to have that. To that we're going to add the ground turkey, and we're going to saute that for a little bit with salt and pepper until it's mostly cooked. I want to say maybe 90% cooked. To our peppers, we're going to cut a slice on them, sort of like removing a lid, because we're going to be stuffing them with the turkey and more vegetables. Don't forget to add your salt and pepper to your turkey and taste to your liking. I also like to add some oregano to mine. Once the turkey is 90% cooked, you can remove it from the pot and sit it on a dish. We're gonna continue using the same pot. Maybe add some more oil if it's getting dry, and you can add half a chopped onion. I like using sweet Vidalia onion for this dish, but you use whatever you like. At this point, we also add one of the slices of the chopped bell pepper, and as you can see, I'm adding some water because I felt the pot was a little bit too hot and it was sticking to the bottom. So no issue in there, just add a little bit of water and you'll be just fine. I like to mix the turkey the last couple of minutes together with the onion and the bell pepper so all the juices can mix together. Now the mixture is all finished, we can set it aside. We can start on the sauce. In a different pot, I'm going to saute the rest of the other half of the onion, and I'm going to add the other slice of the bell pepper, and because this is a tomato sauce, I like to use the red one for the tomato sauce. I add a little bit of salt and pepper and I let it cook. I will cover it here for a moment so it can steam, and probably cook it for maybe 15-20 minutes. You want it to be completely soft. Now when it comes to the bell peppers, we're going to cover them with some vegetable oil or olive oil if you prefer, and we are going to put them on a dish that will go into the oven for at least 20 minutes until they are a little bit soft. Now that the vegetables are soft, we're adding our tomato puree. We're going to lower the heat to just simmer, cover it, and cook it for maybe 20-25 minutes. Don't forget to add salt and pepper. I like adding some oregano, and onion powder and garlic powder could also be good, or a bay leaf if you have it. Now we can start stuffing our bell peppers with the turkey, onion, and orange pepper stuffing. And we're going to smother this with the tomato sauce and bake it in the oven. I like to cover mine with some aluminum foil because in case it splashes a little bit, to prevent the oven to get excessively dirty. It's also a good idea to place this whole baking dish on top of a baking sheet. That way it's easier to remove it from the oven once the bell peppers are done. We can now put our bell peppers in the oven, cook it for about 30 minutes at 375. And of course, you can modify this recipe to your liking. You don't need to use turkey. You can use all vegetables, or you can create a mixture of rice and eggplant, for example. That would also be delicious. Now that 30 minutes have gone by, it's time to remove the bell peppers from the oven. Carefully remove the aluminum foil. The aluminum foil will not be hot, but the baking sheet will be. And it's time to plate. I like to add fresh basil to mine, or parsley, whatever you have, and Parmesan cheese. I hope you try this recipe. I'm going to show you next what to do with the leftover turkey stuffing. We're going to create a pasta dish. We're gonna start by cutting a slice of our cabbage. I like using green cabbage for this preparation, and we're going to steam this cabbage, so you don't need to cut it too small. Make sure you rinse it well on the sink before you add it to your pot. This second dish will probably only take you around 20 minutes. In the time that you cook the pasta, you can prepare the sauce. The stuffing is already cooked, so it will only be the time of cooking the pasta and then baking it in the oven for a little bit. So now that we are adding our cabbage to our pot, we're going to put a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're going to cover it. Since the cabbage is already wet, it will steam very quickly. While the cabbage is steaming, we're going to chop a small onion. We're going to use this onion for the bechamel sauce. The cabbage does not need to be completely soft. I want to say maybe 75% soft. Once it's at that point, you can remove the cabbage from the pot and place it on a dish to the side. On the same pot, we're going to add some vegetable oil or olive oil, whatever you prefer, and we're going to saute our small onion until it's very soft and translucent. Don't forget to season with salt and pepper, or even onion powder and garlic powder, whatever you prefer. I like to cover the onions for a few minutes so they can steam. The next step is to create a roux. A roux you create it by mixing same amount of butter and flour. In this case, I put 2 tablespoons of butter melting on the pot with the onions. When that is melted, I added 2 tablespoons of flour and I cooked that for about 30 seconds to a minute. After that, you want to add 2 cups of milk, but you want to start incorporating the milk very slowly at first, and then the rest you can incorporate it after that. This is a sauce that is very easy to prepare, but you definitely want to make sure you're whisking once in a while so you don't get any lumps on the sauce. It will thicken very quickly, so you don't need to cook it for very long. The characteristic taste of this sauce is nutmeg, so you want to make sure you add salt, pepper, and fresh nutmeg to it. As you can see, within a couple of minutes the sauce is already thickened. At this point, we can turn off the heat of the stove. We can add our cabbage and our leftover turkey stuffing. Mix it all together and we will incorporate the pasta to this. I like to make sure the turkey and the cabbage is well mixed before I add the pasta because it'll be easier to spread it on the noodles. Also very important to save a cup of starchy water before you drain your noodles. You will be using this starchy water later on when you mix the pasta to the sauce. Be very careful with the steam of the noodles. You can now add the noodles to the sauce, mix it very well. We will be topping it with some Parmesan cheese and we're going to be broiling it in the oven. As you can see here, I'm adding the starchy water that I was telling you about, and this will be making it much easier for everything to stick together. You want this dish to get golden brown on the top, so don't need to cover it when you put it in the oven. You just need to watch it because the broiling feature is very fast. I hope you enjoy this dish. It looks delicious to me. Tell me if you try it. Tell me if you modify it. I will see you on the next one. Okay, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the recipes. I hope you find them helpful. Let me know if you try them out, and we'll see you on the next one.